I've been around the block with video games these last 40 years, and I don't remember a game without Grand Theft Auto in its title that has had quite the level of pre-launch hype, confusion, and intrigue as this one. Crimson Desert, the massive, multifaceted epic from Pearl Abyss. It dropped last night across every major modern gaming platform, and you couldn't turn around online for the last few months without bumping into another hot take, another speculation spiral, or a way too early and way too uninformed gripe. And as launch day has approached with details on the console version scarce, that buzz only boiled over more. Even after the developers released performance details and actual console footage last week, the hubbub just kept going. Now, to be clear, I'm not here to dive into a formal in-depth review yet. I've got about a dozen hours in so far, and our full review on this channel will come later. And frankly, even the critics who got early PC review codes seem like they've had to rush to hit embargo, because the findings and scores in the reviews so far are all over the map in a way that I feel like has only added to the confusion and noise. And I know it's tough for those folks who have to hit deadline. That's just no way to play a game like this. But after spending time with this game on both ends of that spectrum, console and high-end PC, right after a week of playing vintage games while preparing to launch a new history series on this channel, I've arrived at my conclusion for what the most important spec is on launch weekend and beyond. And I also came to something of a revelation about this game, about graphics, and about what's driven a lot of online discourse over the last few months. People are hyper-focused on the numbers on this one, so I'm here on launch weekend to try to cut through all that noise and to get to the heart of how I think we should be thinking about Crimson Desert and the best way to battle through all the clickbait. So come on, let's have at it. Hey, I'm Owen, and if you're new here, welcome to Friendly Zennial Gamer. Now, first things first, I'm actively reviewing Crimson Desert in depth with my lifelong buddy Chuck. Me on my gaming PC with an RTX 5080, and him on a base model original launch day PS5. All of the footage you're going to see in this video was either captured on my PC or on his launch day PS5. And I'll keep a label on screen so you'll always know which is which, but you won't see a frame rate counter or a system status monitor anywhere on this video. That's not what this channel is, and it would sort of run counter to the point that I'm going to make. And let me say something clearly before I even make that point. Graphics really matter to me. I think they're a genuinely important part of any game. And I have a great deal of respect for teams that go deep on graphics in a mature editorial way like Digital Foundry. But there's no question that there's a lot of spec talk out there these days that's just meant to inflame from some of the, let's say, less reputable sources and corners of the internet. And that makes this Friendly Zennial Gamer who grew up on graphics that looked like this feel decidedly unfriendly. Because I have even deeper respect for the real care and ingenuity that goes into building beautiful, rich game worlds. And with a game this large, I'm in awe of what the development team at Pearl Abyss has accomplished even before getting deep into a review conversation. Crimson Desert runs on their own proprietary engine, and it looks incredible. These developers have an enormous amount to be proud of as players get their hands on this title today. And I also work in theater production. It's my full-time career. So I know something of what it feels like to put a large, complicated thing in front of an audience only to face the critics. And my hat is off and my heart really goes out to the team that brought this game to life. What makes their achievement even more impressive is the sheer range of hardware they launched on, all on the same day, all at the same hour. We're talking about console hardware that is now 5.5 years old, all the way up through current high-end PC and even Mac hardware. The optimization challenge there is staggering. And I think that context has gotten completely lost in a lot of the online discourse. So let me just say this plainly for anyone who's been intrigued by this game but who's been thrown by the hype of late. This game plays perfectly well across the spectrum. Chuck put time in with the game last night on his base PS5 and he shared his captures and his impressions with me. And I've played a bunch already on my PC across multiple graphics configurations, with upscalers on, with more limited enhancement in different scenarios. And I normally game on an ultra-wide display, but I captured everything here in standard 4K so that the comparison is as clean as possible for most viewers. And I don't need to tell you what you're seeing with your own eyes. This is a beautiful, layered, richly detailed game. Across all of this footage and on both systems, Crimson Desert is a gorgeous piece of work with a scope that genuinely earns the word epic. But you can also see that there clearly is a marked difference between what it looks like on a base console versus what it achieves on higher-end PC hardware. At full native 4K and high frame rates, a game that is already beautiful simply becomes more so. And I appreciate the work that this team has done to make it this lush at those settings. As someone who only got into PC gaming earlier this year, Crimson Desert is the first real AAA release that I'm playing on my rig from day one, and I'm genuinely excited to dig in. But here's the thing, after sitting with Chuck's base PS5 footage, I've kept coming back to one question. Yes, I can see the difference, but does it make a difference? And look, this is the ultimate your mileage may vary question. How much graphics matter and what makes a game beautiful are deeply subjective. But I can't help feeling that the online discourse has become way too focused on the numbers, and not nearly enough on what those numbers actually mean. And for this type of game specifically, I think I can already say it. The sometimes wide berth in graphical performance between the two platforms doesn't really matter. That's not to say I don't appreciate it, but players tackling this on a base PS5 or Xbox Series consoles are going to have just as engrossing an experience as those on a PS5 Pro or a top-of-the-line gaming PC. Because what makes this game special, what I can already feel even just a few hours in, are the possibilities. As has been rumored in the previews, there's a breath of the wild level of surprise in the exploration. There's a richness to the world building that echoes The Witcher. Those bones are here. And those bones just don't care what resolution or frame rate you have to run the game at. And here's where the vintage gaming context that I mentioned comes in, because I think it really reframed everything for me as I've been counting down to launch day. This week, getting ready to publish a new video game history series on this channel called The Save Files, I've been playing a lot of 6th-gen consoles. Grand Theft Auto 3 on PS2, Halo and Fable on original Xbox, games that are child's play by today's graphical standards, but that inspired genuinely curious exploration and thrilling new gameplay experiences at the time. Games that people still talk about and that stand the test of time. Games that shaped the hobby. And sitting with that and then booting up Crimson Desert, it just hit me how far we've come. But more so, it hit me that what matters most has never been the frame rate, the resolution, or whether that resolution is native or upscaled. All of that stuff is interesting, don't get me wrong. And yes, you can see a difference, but it's not fundamental to what makes or breaks a game like this. What is fundamental? Whether a game is well optimized enough or not to hit its targets so that you can just play. Whether the experience it's asking for is reasonable given the hardware it's running on. And whether when you're actually playing, you can get lost in the world regardless of your platform of choice. And on all of those counts, Crimson Desert passes. And look, you're going to hear a lot more hot takes about this game in the coming weeks, and everyone is entitled to their opinion and to putting it out there online. But when I see reviews giving a game like this less than a 5 out of 10, or see people dismissing it because it runs at 30 frames per second on console or it relies on upscaling, I think that does a tremendous disservice. To the teams who built it, to the players who are about to discover it, and honestly, maybe to the gaming hobby itself. Because I can't help but think that a lot of those takes might be for clicks. Like 4.5 out of 10 for this game? Might be for clicks. Cause look, pushing buttons to rile up folks gets clicks, and clicks feel good, and clicks make money. But there are plenty of other things in this crazy world of 2026 to rile people up with rage bait and drive dollars for eyeballs. I just wish it didn't always have to happen in the gaming world, where the main quest is always meant to be enjoying ourselves. This week, I've played games from 1998 all the way up through today's launch of Crimson Desert. And I'm here to tell you this game appears to be something that took a lot of talented people a lot of time, and it looks to be well worth our time. So avoid the hypey headlines, avoid the rage bait, because the only spec that truly matters here is whether you like a Western fantasy RPG. That's it. Full stop. If you do, don't let anyone's bullshit clickbait nitpick about graphics on any given platform stop you at the battle line. This is a game that wants to be experienced slowly over time, and I'd bet the gaming community will be talking about that experience for a while to come. Like I said, my buddy Chuck and I will be going deep on Crimson Desert over the next couple weeks, and I'm genuinely looking forward to having that conversation with him and sharing it with you. But on day one, after a lot of months of hype and confusion, I'm confident the experience is going to be comparable and worthwhile no matter what platform you're playing on. So if you're jumping into Crimson Desert this weekend, drop a comment below. Tell me what you're playing on, what you think, and what you're finding. Let's all have fun out there in Piewell. Till next time, I'm Owen, the Friendly Zennial Gamer. Thanks so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this video, hit like. It helps new viewers find their way here. And subscribe for more, including my brand new video game history series, The Save Files, dropping later this weekend. Thanks so much for watching.